Y'all know what time it is. It's time for some Black Clover greatness. This video I'm going to be covering the last two chapters, and I believe it's chapters 234 through 235 because you know, with the holidays and stuff, it was a bit difficult for me to get to these videos in particular because, you know, obviously with manga reviews you gotta, you know, dive in and see every little detail to make sure you don't miss nothing. But we're gonna be covering a lot because a lot has gone down in these last two chapters. We got some major insight into YUNO'S backstory, his mom, certain aspects of how he got the amulet, this guy Ralph that came with this warning, and then in the latest one, fam, war breaking out at the Golden Dawn headquarters. This is pretty exciting. Let's talk about it. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. So chapter 234 of Black Clover, it begins with the Golden Dawn, which you could definitely see the foreshadowing of what was to come, especially with chapter 235, the all-out massacre that went down at the Golden Dawn headquarters, because it starts off Golden Dawn really admiring Yuno, which it's come a long way, okay? We've come a long way, boys, between Asta and Yuno when they first started, everybody making fun of them from, you know, being from this little village in the sticks, Hodge, like, oh my gosh, you're a commoner, what are you doing here? Especially for Yuno, I'm imagining. I mean, don't get me wrong, his talents quickly shut up a lot of people, but still, where he came from, it's a far cry already for where he's at right now, with again a chapter opening up with a lot of his comrades just like bragging about him, saying how awesome he is. The dude got fangirls, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely is a major leap away from the beginning, and I like that because don't get me wrong, it's cool if a manga really goes to the end to wait to see the fruits of their labor, but at the same time to see that they're already getting recognized, especially Yuno for being great. I like that, and it's dope to see again that was foreshadowing though, like peaceful times at the Golden Dawn headquarters, people really rooting for Yuno and saying how amazing he is, to a massacre, baby. Because then we cut to Yuno back to where the last chapter left off, with him talking to this guy that we find out in 234, his name is Ralph, and he's getting quite a bit of information. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was kind of funny to see the orphanage, you know, like the father from Hodge, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're a prince, you know, everybody just in complete shock. And then even Ralph seeing little inklings of, okay, where Yuno is at now, because, you know, with everything we get later on, finding out who Ralph is and what his connection is to Yuno and things like that, seeing him, you know, just even seeing the fairy, what is Sylph, being a part of him and rocking with him, one of the four great spirits, that was pretty cool because it shows again like he's the real deal, fam. Yes, this is the prince from the freaking Spade Nation, baby. But then Ralph cuts to the chase of like, alright, I'm not gonna BS with you right now, we're gonna play some mind games, or not even mind games, I'm gonna give you some memories, fam. And he uses his trace mirage magic, I think that's how it was pronounced, and pretty much he starts giving Yuno a lot of his past memories of what led up to him being an orphan in front of Hodge village, how he got left in front of the church and everything. And it's crazy because we get quite a bit, and it still felt vague. I think there's still a lot more that is going to be done, and how the backstory is really going to blow open, because you got to think one major thing that is still missing, despite us finding out he's a prince from the nation of Spade, despite getting a little panel, which it was again keeping it very mysterious and vague, like when his mother, I want to say that was his mother, was thanking him for being born and everything, like awesome, great. How the hell did Asta end up on the doorstep right along with him at the same exact moment? What is that about? Which I'm starting to more and more with everything I'm noticing with the Nation of Spade, all this talk of demons and everything, starting to get an idea of who and what Asta probably is. Like initially we all thought, oh yeah, Asta and Yuno, they probably got to be brothers, right? This chapter was even pushing forward more that, well, there was no mentions of Asta, unless this dude Ralph was cutting certain things out of the picture, unless Asta was a kid that, let's just say the mom had twins and one of them was no good, or the mom had twins and one of them came out with demon blood somehow, or demon powers or demon magic, and they tried to get rid of him but they couldn't. It's starting to really show, no, Asta and Yuno, they're not brothers, they don't come from the same mother, or maybe they have the same father, I don't know, but it still left it like, well damn, if Yuno got there, how much longer was it until Asta got there, and how did Asta got there, and what's the connection, like what's going on? And we see the origins of the magic stone amulet that Yuno has had throughout this whole series. And we see that it was Ralph's father, I want to say, that gave the amulet. He said this is, you know, for Yuno. Well, initially it was just a magic stone. He's like, to give it to Yuno and whatnot, which is interesting because I wonder if he knew exactly what he had in his hands with this magic stone. Like, I mean, they were pretty noble at that particular point. You know, they were nobles, they were royalty. So I'm imagining he must have known to a certain extent of what this magic stone was capable of. I'm curious if there's still any power in it, because wasn't it taken away to unlock the whole thing with the first Wizard King, you know, his stone and everything? Or not even that, it was for the skeleton of, you know, Lit, the original Lit, and the demon power and all that stuff. So wasn't that already used? I'm curious if there's still magic in there, or how does that even work? But then we see it was the Zagrates, I want to say that's how you pronounce Zagrates brothers, that they got their hands on demon power and they launched the first attack on the Nation of Spade, and that's how things started to fall. Seemingly, again, you could tell Tabata has more story to tell. This is not the extent of it. Honestly, it felt way too vague, way too quick, way too like glazing over something that's really, really important for us to get the full-on like story. Like, that's gonna come later as to, okay, what is it with Yuno's father? Because they're just like, well, what about the king? You know, oh damn, you know, royalty is falling one by one. That's more than likely giving me the idea we're gonna get that later in. But one of the things that is starting to piece a lot of this together with the Dark Triad and everything, unless there's again a major plot twist that one of the Dark Triad somehow, some way is related to Yuno, or, you know, his father became a part of the Dark Triad or was secretly with, is that you got to think, if you see the panel, there's a silhouette of the people that were attacking the Nation of Spade, and one of them looked like Zenon, or as they like to call him, Zeno, which I enjoy that name, but, you know, it's hard to call him Zeno when I think of Dragon Ball Super, but, you know, we could roll with whatever, but I'm gonna still go with Zenon. He could potentially be the one responsible for the death of Yuno's parents, and possibly even Asta's, depending on what his lineage and who he is and where he comes from or whatever. But if that's the case, it is tying this arc into a really good, if this is going to be the, you know, final arc of the story, again, I don't know, but it really makes it like, this is heavy. Unless these memories, which you know, Ralph was trying to say, you know these memories aren't fake, you could tell, right? Unless these memories are fake, then Zenon, which again, it looked like him, or it could have been a relative, I don't know how old this dude is, you can't really tell, but you see the silhouette with the jacket and everything. He was one of the people that was launching the attack on the Nation of Spade back then. So this guy right here, one of the people that is in the Triad, could be the murderer of Yuno's parents, which you got to think, because after the flashback is over, after we see, you know, Ralph's father sending Yuno off, and again, he sent them to the village of Hodge, even though where's Asta, what's going on there? But the interesting thing is that Yuno still doesn't really accept it yet. He's like, well, that's cool and all. I'm still, you know, from the Clover Kingdom. Like, that don't matter to me. So, with all of that being said, in order for things to really progress in the way of, like, having Yuno say, you know what, I need to take up the mantle, which I do think it's going to go in that direction. I think this is where Tabata's going to try and find a happy medium to allow Asta to be the Wizard King of the Clover Kingdom, and maybe Yuno be, you know, the emperor or leader, or maybe they'll create a Wizard King system over there of the Nation of Spade once they defeat them and rebuild things. So maybe that's a possibility, but where it stands right now is interesting that even with all those memories, and you could tell it was affecting Yuno, gave him a headache and everything, he was still very adamant about, no, I'm from the Clover Kingdom. So I'm curious to see where is it going to go. I mean, at the end of the day, now he kind of has a motive to kind of want to go against them, besides the fact that they already been terrorizing, and, you know, you got to move forward and be rescuers and be good guys. But now with what happened in 235, he's definitely going to want to go at them, regardless if it's not to do necessarily with him wanting vengeance for his fallen parents or his fallen people or his kingdom or anything like that. But I think along the way, something, maybe if it's more memories, Ralph somehow is able to give him full vision of everything, or he just hears about it, or whatever the case may be, it's going to cement Yuno wanting to do this, not only as vengeance, but also for his people, and again, possibly take up that mantle. Which chapter 234 ends off with, again, Yuno hearing about there's attack on the Golden Dawn headquarters. We see Zenon and a couple of his boys going in and saying, we came for the arcane stage mage, everyone else can be killed, whatever. Which I'm curious, like, were they looking for Yuno? Did maybe they hear about the survivor, the prince of the Nation of Spade, and they're coming to kill him, and he kind of just made it easier for them, if that's the case, going, you know, marching straight over to the Golden Dawn headquarters with them being being there, but that's interesting. Well, first of all, it shows how much of a badass he is, that he's like, kill everybody, I don't give a shit. But there's a lot of things tying it into the past of Yuno at the very least, and it looks like this is possibly shaping out to be a really Yuno-centric arc. And instead of it being, which again later on Tabata, because he usually likes to throw curveballs, he might insert everything about Asta into this, but this is probably going to be Yuno's arc. Then incoming chapter 235 starts off with Yuno saying, yo, I gotta go, Golden Dawn headquarters. He's trying to rush over to there, and we see Zenon with some of his boys. And I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that made me look at them like, these are some badasses. These dudes are not to be played with. When they get hit by a whole bunch of magic from members of the Golden Dawn, which again, they're supposed to be the strongest of the Clover Kingdom, like, you know, they're supposed to be the creme de la creme, so to speak. But dude is like, yo, this is itchy or some shit. I'm like, itchy? But like, yo. And then they basically revealed that the pitch darkness apostle are all level 0, so they're kind of using the same scale that Loro Pechica in the Heart Kingdom uses as far as measuring magic. And if they're all level 0s, I can only imagine the fight that we're about to have. And I mean, yeah, it was necessary to have some sort of training arc, because we don't know, obviously Asta is considered like, you know, he's not on the magic charts per se, he's a dark level because they don't know where to put him at. But come on, these dudes needed to level up. And I still look at it like, if all of that and the Golden Dawn, they were like nothing, they were like flies to these dudes, I don't even know. The one dude gets bashed by rock magic, and then they start giving a little bit of information into, I guess all of these people are able to tap into this demon power. Obviously Zenon, because he's also seemingly possessed by a demon. Maybe Magicula is full on in Zenon, and maybe Magicula been around for a long time in the physical at this point, not just making deals. Maybe he's making small deals to give people magic powers, because they're like, the sergeant can do 5%, this one dude can do 40%, but Zenon can go up to 80%, and probably is one of those cases of, aha, this isn't even my final form, fam, I can go 120% on some younger Toguro shit. But the Golden Dawn didn't have a chance. I mean, just seeing the carnage, the devastation, dude gets bodied by the rock magic. And then you got something I was a little bit disappointed. You got Captain William Vengeance, you know, held on to the title, even though they want to kill Asta. But the actual traitor to the Clover Kingdom, the dude that you know, was responsible for so much carnage and mayhem, pretty much was 100% a traitor for the other side of his brain on some like psychopath shit. He's still captain of the Golden Dawn. And yeah, I was disappointed by that, I'm not gonna lie. I feel as though he should have been demoted, or he should have gotten a special something there, or there should have been some sort of severe thing that he needed to do in between everything. Like, I understand Julius was like, the people judging you is going to be a punishment, but come on, fam, you're inciting that you can betray the kingdom, possibly get everyone killed, all sorts of shit, and little tap on the wrist, mate. That's all you get, William. And then right as we're about to get that William Vengeance versus Zenon, Sandler jumps in like, yo, fam, what are you doing? Like, would that dude jump in for you? Like, remember he sent y'all to the slaughter? Like, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to get over. It would be the equivalent of like Obito being in Konoha, and or even when it happened, when Naruto said he was like the coolest dude ever, when he said that about Obito. It's like, it's hard for me to take William Vengeance being a good person now, considering everything. Like, I don't know, it's just a little difficult. And especially Sandler laying his life on the line, jumping in front of getting hit and bodied by this bone magic from Zenon. Like, can we just see these dudes scrap? And seemingly they scrapped. I hate that Tabata seemingly off-screened it based on the ending with, you know, showing up to the Golden Dawn and everything seemingly being over. Because I wanted to see William Vengeance, where does he measure up? Because remember, he's a captain. He's the captain of the strongest crew there, the Golden Dawn. I wanted to see a full-on battle, but based on, you know, his tree magic versus his bone magic. And there was some interesting things. I don't know if the translations were off or not, when Zenon was like, oh, I need to take that back with me to the Nation of Spades. So I was a little bit confused in those aspects. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to see that fight so freaking bad. But probably William got his ass whipped too, which shows, I like that. Like, if you're gonna come in and have these dudes invading, taking out the Golden Dawn's headquarters and everything, you got Yuno showing up there, which, here's my theory, my prediction, Yuno's gonna probably head off with them. If he doesn't get his ass kicked and dragged away, if that's who they were looking for to begin with, the arcane mage, which I'm imagining that's That's why they're looking for him, because they found out somebody from the initial bloodline, the real royals, survived, the son. So either he's trying to capture him for the king, maybe he needs him, or who knows, again, maybe Yuno's father is a demon infected person. I don't freaking know. But overall, the last chapter, it just showed what a credible threat, what a real serious threat these people are. And the more we get Zenon, which shout out to Crollo from Hunter x Hunter. You ain't gonna tell me otherwise come on, that's totally inspired, which I'm fine with it just because I love the design to begin with, and this dude is putting in work. He's invading. He's saying, kill, I don't care, do what you gotta do. Let's just get what we came to get. And on top of that, seemingly William Vengeance took the L, the whole Golden Dawn, which again, I think we're heading into a scenario where a lot of the mages of the Clover Kingdom are slowly but surely going to start becoming which I hate that when a series progresses and the power scaling starts to increase and increase, a la Dragon Ball Z, where you go from Dragon Ball, where Tien and Yamcha and them are useful, Dragon Ball Z, they're nothing. And I think we're starting to head into that direction where you see again these villains, Golden Dawn, the strongest of the, cream of the crop, they get their asses handed to them, and more than likely even William Vengeance, the captain. So we gotta wait and see exactly what was the outcome of that. I mean, the dude told oh, you missed out on everything, it's all over, and you see the whole headquarters all smashed up and everything. So William Vengeance probably took the L. But again, that's showing that it's gonna start getting to a point where most of these lower level mages aren't going to matter. Overall, what a freaking way to end off the 2019 year for Black Clover's manga, getting Yuno's mom, a bit of his past, even though it was vague and we still don't know where Asta lands into all this, finding out he's a prince and seeing who gave him the, who's the real person that gave him the magic stone and the, the amulet, getting more of the Dark Triad, seeing them invading, like, honestly, I ain't gonna lie, the way they just did this badassery of, we're going to the Clover Kingdom, we're invading the Golden Dawn, they ain't gonna do shit, gave me kind of vibes of like early 1,000-Year Blood War, when the Vondenrake just came in and just started smashing, invading the Serete and shit like that. I like that, and honestly, this was fire. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about the Dark Triad, Zenon, and everything, because shit is fire. Curious what you guys think, though. For starters, again, where does Asta play in all this? Where does he go if was launched over there by Ralph's father to, Hodge Village, to the church? How did Asta come about with all of this? Like, where does he fit in all of it? Is it something to do with the demon powers? Maybe Asta's a creation of demon magic or something like that. And where do you think this is all going to go? Do you think that William Vengeance took the major L? And I mean, rightfully so. If you want to make the next threat look bigger than the last, William Vengeance is supposed to be strong. Make this dude 10 times stronger and embody William Vengeance. And your overall thoughts and expectations for Black Clover's manga with chapter 236 and beyond for 2020. Shit is getting real, baby. Let's go. So all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links, of course, in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day, peace in, and see you in 2020 for some more Black Clover greatness!
Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride.